Good evening, friends. We have snowfall that is just about to move into the Roanoke zone. New River Valley is already seeing some snowflakes out and about, and we are continuing to really see this snowfall moving through the area throughout the evening hours. Will eventually become a little more widespread. But right now, again, we do have those snowflakes that are knocking on the door right here in Roanoke. We finally saturated our upper atmosphere. It took a little while, but we are now seeing the snowflakes at the surface, and boy, do we have the temperatures to support it. We are widespread below zero. Some parts of South Side still a little bit warmer, but now in Roanoke we're sitting at 28 degrees. Hot Springs 23. Same story for Wytheville. 27 in Hillsville, 25 in Floyd right now, 34 Alta Vista and Danville. So again, that area is a little bit warmer, but even still, the snowfall over the next couple of hours, along with those temperatures, that will begin to tumble. We'll still see the snow sticking in those areas as well. So again, we do have those winter weather alerts that are in place. And a reminder that this does expire by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. So this is still a very fast-moving event. Now, the regions right here you're looking at in pink, these are all winter storm warnings. In those areas, likely seeing those higher amounts of the snowfall totals. Now, the purple areas right there, those are the winter weather advisories. And again, the entirety of these alerts, this does all of it, all of these do expire at the same time by 7 o'clock on Saturday morning. Now, what we are looking at for the threats with this next storm system, gusting winds are possible in some parts, especially on Saturday and into Sunday. That is when we will begin to see those winds increasing, that wind speed about 20 plus miles an hour. That is possible for Saturday, especially. Accumulating snowfall, very high possibility. Most we will be seeing accumulating snowfall with this system. Freezing rain and ice. Now, this is the great news about this entire weather maker. Not necessarily as icy as what we dealt with on Sunday and into Monday. So it is much, much better than at least seeing that more icy event. This is much lighter and not necessarily as big of a concern with power outages, which is still possible, but not necessarily going to see things as a widespread, hopefully, fingers crossed. Hopefully won't see those more widespread power outages. And then what we dealt with, again, with all of the ice and that entire mess on Sunday and into Monday. So this is what we're looking at for timing. So we will begin as starting things off in some parts, a wintry mix and a rainfall event, and that will change over to snowfall. And that will last throughout the overnight hours and into Saturday morning. So this is a pretty quick move. You'll notice by about 6 to 7 a.m. it will be out of our hair, and then we start a drying pattern, at least for a little bit. Things will be at least a little bit more dry. And this is what we're watching. Snowfall totals. We have changed up this forecast just a bit within the past couple of hours as we have gotten some new information into the Weather Center now. This is definitely a little bit of a unique setup because this is not something that we have, we don't experience this quite often. The South Side zone gets more snowfall than the Highlands zone. So South Side and even this portion, the southern portion of this Lynchburg zone right here, and even into the southern portions of the New River Valley, see about 3 to 6 inches of that snowfall total. Now, as you move further on into the northern portions of the New River Valley, as well as the Highlands zone, about 1 to 4 inches of that total snowfall accumulation is possible. So we are still going to see at least those snowfall totals that will be at least a little bit higher than what we did experience Sunday into Monday because of the ice accumulation, or rather lack thereof. So we're not going to be having that freezing rainfall to really, I don't have any better way to say it than kind of crunch down those snow totals. So we will get more of that light, fluffy snowfall. And as mentioned before, this will be a very, very quick event. This does map out the end time, the last time that we're going to be seeing that winter precip. So this does wrap up, this entire winter weather event does wrap up about 1 to 3 a.m. into parts of Bland County, the Marion area right there. But for majority of the New River Valley, Roanoke Zone, and even part of that Lynchburg Zone and Highland Zone. The window for this winter precip to wrap up is 3 to 5 a.m., and this is an even quicker moving event for those portions for the majority of our viewing area. This will be out before sunrise. Now, part of Southside and portions of the Lynchburg Zone, we will start seeing that precip come to an end by 5 to 7 a.m. So anyway you cut it, by about 7 a.m., this is all out of our hair, and we are continuing to dry things at about 8 to 10 a.m. and may see a few lingering snow showers for the western slopes of the Blue Ridge Mountains there into both Pocahontas and Greenbrier counties right here. This is typically where we see along those western slopes along this mountain range right here. That's typically the last place that we see those snowflakes falling and the last to really end that winter precip. So that is going to be the case. Let's time this out over the next few hours on Futurecast. Keep checking out the window to see if we do have at least some snowflakes falling outside the news station. Not quite yet, but it certainly looks like snow. And as we can tell on the radar image that we started off with, we're getting there. We're getting there. We'll begin to saturate that upper atmosphere, and we'll eventually see those snowflakes falling in Roanoke Zone as well. Futurecast timing this out for the remainder of the evening hours. We will continue to the snowfall become more widespread as we head into the evening hours. By 7 o'clock, our entire viewing area should be beginning to see snowfall. Snowflakes should be at least beginning to fall, if not some parts as we get closer towards central Virginia, especially that Nelson County area. We'll see those snowflakes falling a little bit later now. That is because in that area, we still have to saturate that atmosphere. And we've been talking about this for the past couple of hours, where the moisture was a little bit taken away from this system because it was more so brought into that heavier precip in parts of Tennessee and the Carolinas and Kentucky. So we actually had to saturate the atmosphere a little bit in the upper atmosphere because we did have some dry pockets. And after that is when we finally saw those snowflakes that were at the surface. But that has since saturated, and in the New River Valley at least, seeing snowfall active at this time. And we're starting to see that working its way towards the Roanoke Zone as well as Southside, Lynchburg, and Hot Springs. Now this will continue overnight. Notice this sea of blue right here. This is signifying that it is primarily a snowfall event. Now, every now and again, we'll get little isolated pockets of purple and pink going on there, signifying that mixed precipitation, but by far and large, this is definitely going to be more so that snowfall than the mixed precip event, which, again, great news. 2 a.m., look at that. We are looking at that snowfall out of our hair, at least for a lot of the area, starting to get a break into the New River Valley and Roanoke Zone as well. And even Highlands, that snow coverage turns a little bit more isolated and that widespread. So this is already 2 o'clock Saturday morning. This is not going to last too long. And even still, that coverage after about 2 a.m., even though we're not looking at those official stop times until some parts about 3 to 4, and even some really that ending about 5 to 7 a.m., they'll still be very isolated in terms of that coverage. So that is the good news. After 2, 3 o'clock, the majority, couldn't think of that word, majority of the precipitation does wrap up and get out of our area. And we'll still see a few very isolated, lingering bouts of snow showers, but majority of the area out of our hair of that precip. By 10 a.m. on Saturday, again, still seeing a few bouts of that snowfall in the western slopes of the Blue Ridge, and that will continue to turn more isolated and eventually completely gone and dry by about 7 to 8 o'clock on Saturday evening. Now, Sunday morning, you'll notice we're still dry, a few clouds here and there, but mostly sunny. And this is key for seeing melting finally in our area. We've had a lot of ice still in some spots because our temperatures have not gotten above freezing. Really, there have been very few points where we've gotten above freezing, if at all, across all 5 of our zones this past week. And because of that ice storm, the snow and ice storm that we dealt with Sunday and Monday, we already still have those icy spots across the area, but now we're adding snowfall on top of it. And even on top of that, not only do you need to melt the snowfall, but the ice. So there's still some spots where even if that snow does cover up a little bit of ice and you don't know that slick spot's there, it could be dangerous in some parts of the viewing area. So please be careful and stay off the roadways if you can. Now, the good news is you'll notice on this Futurecast Sunday, we are still dry, which is fantastic. We're still dry and clear, even better, because with more of that sunshine, we will start to melt things even more and see at least a little bit melting Sunday and into Monday. But in terms of tonight, it is going to be a snowy and cold evening. Our low temperatures will fall into the 20s. 25 your low in Roanoke tonight, as well as Bedford, Alta Vista, and Lynchburg. 20 in Hot Springs this evening. 22 in Independence and Martinsville. 26 in Danville, as well as South Boston tonight. Wind speeds to go along with those chilly temperatures overnight. We'll see a slight breeze, anywhere from those completely calm winds at some points overnight to about 5 to 6 miles an hour. Sustained wind speed gusts up to 10 miles an hour. We're not blustery yet, but I did want to give you a peek into the next weather story we will be watching, and that is Sunday morning. Our wind chills will be very, very chilly. You'll notice we're barely dipping down into the teens and 20s for these wind chills, but over the overnight hours, Saturday and to Sunday, this is going to be the next story, if you will. It will be colder, and we will see those wind speeds will be kicking up, and you'll notice Sunday morning wind chill values, single digits widespread. 10 degrees it'll feel like. In Roanoke, it'll feel like 6 in Hot Springs, Wytheville 5, Pulaski 7, and South Boston 17. Across the board, it will feel like a very chilly morning, a Sunday morning. And as we continue throughout the day on Sunday, at least warm up to at least closer. We're getting closer towards those seasonable values, but not there quite yet. But the good news is at least it will be sunny. So we do see the opportunity for a little bit of melting. Your 7-day forecast, we still have that Weather Authority alert day in place for your Saturday because of we'll wrap up our snowfall event at that time. Sunday, we are dry, high temperature of 38, and look out for that heat wave on Monday, 43 degrees. We're warming things up ever so slightly. Our average hot temperature for this time of year is still 47. Nowhere on this map, or on the 7-day rather, are we looking at any number close to 47. 43, close-ish. But then we fall very quickly after we're in the 40s on Monday, into the 30s and 20s for midweek next week. And Monday and Tuesday, can't rule out an isolated shower, but not looking at widespread showers by any means. So again, over these next couple of hours, be sure and stay off the roadways if you can, because these conditions will deteriorate very quickly once this snowfall arrives and does begin sticking to the roadways, because it will stick very quickly because of these temperatures. Already primed, road temperatures already cool enough. So stay safe this weekend, my friends, and bundle up, have some fun with snow. This is a more fun type of snow. We're not looking at that much of an ice storm. We will be here and keeping you updated with the latest forecast over the next couple of hours.